Wife of Anambra State Governor Mrs. Saludo urges Anambra to embrace a public-private community partnership initiative. Anambra State government urges motorists to obey road signs. Nigeria's defense headquarters blames insecurity on proliferation of illegal arms ammunition. North Korea prepares for war against United States of America. Before the news in detail, here is the special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy, and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. Wife of the Governor of Anambra State and founder of the Healthy Living with Nonye Soludo, Mrs. Nonye Soludo has commended individuals and organizations that are championing the leave no one behind ideology of the present administration in the state. Mrs. Soludo was speaking at Nobi in Idemili South local government area during the 2023 edition of the Ebuka Okafor Foundation's Christmas outreach. We have details of this report from our studio.
Ebuka Okafor Foundation is a charitable organization that has been in existence for 11 years with intervention in the areas of education, health, and human capital investment. In its 2023 edition, it provided Christmas support and free medical checks for 3,000 widows from different towns in the state. Speaking at the event, Mrs. Soludo commended the founder of the non-governmental organization, Chief Ebuka Okafor, for thinking home in addition to using his resources to touch humanity. The governor's wife, who described what the Ebuka Okafor Foundation has achieved in the last 11 years as phenomenal, urged other Anambra who have the resources to emulate such gesture. Mrs. Soludo further explained that the main objectives of the public-private community partnership framework of the present administration is to get all stakeholders involved in developing the state. Earlier, while briefing the governor's wife on the origin and activities of the foundation, Chief Okafor described it as his way of touching lives, pointing out that the original essence of the foundation is to add value to humanity through charity. He commended Mrs. Soludo for showing support to the foundation with her presence and also praised her works of charity and healthy living through her Healthy Living with Nonye Soludo initiatives. Each of the 3,000 widows that got the Christmas support received a bag of rice, beans, garri, cash, and a roll of wrapper. Anambra State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Mrs. Ifi Obinabo, the Transition Committee Chairman of Idemili South Local Government Area, Mrs. Amaka Obi, among others, were at the event.
To continue managing the massive influx of vehicles in the state this Yuletide, Anambra State government, through the Anambra State Road Traffic Management Agency, ATMA, has advised motorists to always obey road signs to avoid obstructing others. In the release signed by the Commissioner for Information, Sir Paul Nwosu, Anambra State government urges the people to call 081 4422 8836 or 080 819-58091 for rapid response to any traffic situation. The federal government says it will construct more major roads in Anambra and entire southeast geopolitical zone through the Operation Connect to Your Destination scheme. The managing director of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Engineer Chukwuemeka Abasi, stated this when he inspected the just completed about 761 kilometers Ukbo Town, Oye, Ago, Otocha Road project, constructed under the Operation Connect to Your Destination scheme of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. Correspondent Emmanuel Okunwo tells us more.
Engineer Abasi, who stated that the Operation Connect to Your Destination scheme, recently flagged up by the federal government, is aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the people in trying to connect to their various destinations and parts of the country, disclosing that one of the major road projects in the pipeline in southeast under the scheme is the Onitsha-Owele Road. The FEMA boss expressed satisfaction with the quality of the just completed Ubo Town Oyago Otuota Road project, observing that the drainages on the road were well constructed and channeled.
We're here to inspect some of the recently completed projects, and this project that we're seeing today includes one of them. This is a project in Ifite Dunu community, a road that is about 761 meters, and it connects so many villages, and also the community here is an agrarian community. So essentially we're here to look at the quality of work that has been completed by the contractor.
Some of the residents in the areas that spoke to the ABS during the inspection exercise, including Mrs. Mary Owoye, Mr. Chijioke Obi, and Mrs. Florence Chikelue, appreciated the federal government for coming to their aid, recalling that before the construction of the road, people in the area could not evacuate their farm produce or connect to neighboring communities easily because of bad roads, unlike now that they find it very easy to access other communities around them and go about their businesses effortlessly.
I thank God for what government do for our village. This place, they know they passed there before, erosion everywhere. But since they repair this road, now so people, everybody, they jolly, they happy. We they thank God for waiting God remember us for this village.
I really appreciate the government that did the road. This is what emulation for other governments to look at and then carry on to help the local masses. Thank you.
From Ubo in Dunukofia Council area, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo reporting for ABS News.
Anambra State Police Command says it has launched an intensive manhunt for armed insurgents who infiltrated from a neighboring state and killed 2 police personnel at Oga Agata local government area. We have details from our studio.
A statement by the Anambra State Police Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Tochwi Kenga, explained that the gang, which disguised in military fatigue and seemed to be on a kidnap mission, were jolted on seeing 2 armed police officers approaching their direction and opened fire on the officers who had moved ahead of the convoy they were escorting to decongest traffic gridlock. Other personnel, according to the statement, returned fire, careful not to hit many motorists who were in the traffic, forcing the bandits to flee. It was gathered that police-led mobile forward operating base, which has been on intensive patrol of the entire area throughout Christmas celebrations, promptly responded to the scene and recovered a Lexus SUV the gang operated with, defused an improvised explosive device found in the vehicle, and recovered AK-47 rifle belonging to one of the slain personnel. Anambra State Commissioner of Police Aderemi Adeoye, who had declared the weekend and Christmas holidays as special working days for all officers and men in the command, commended all personnel for their tireless and courageous effort in securing the people of Anambra State and urged them not to be demoralized by the supreme price paid by their colleagues from Enugu State Command, but to draw inspiration from their bravery in confronting the criminal gang. He condoled the families of the deceased officers and Enugu State Police Command and vowed that the personnel will not die in vain, while urging all officers and men of the Anambra State Police Command to redouble their efforts and remain vigilant. CP Adeoye assured that technology will be employed to track down the criminals who unleashed the attack on police personnel. He urged the good people of Anambra State not to allow the incident to create fear in their minds, but to continue with various activities they had slated for the Yuletide season.
Mbahu community in Oka North local government area has conducted town union election to determine the leaders who will pilot its affairs for the next 4 years. The election took place at Mbahu Central School Field. We have details from our studio.
The election conducted through option A4 saw the emergence of Mr. Chukwubase Nwokoma from Oturunonaga village as the new President General, having secured the majority of votes cast. The outcome stirred discontent among other contestants, prompting calls for cancellation. Earlier, while addressing the electorate, Mr. E. Babuchi Obele, the representative of the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Tony Collins Nwabwanne, emphasized the need for peaceful conduct and warned against non-indigenous interference to ensure smooth election. In his valedictory speech, the immediate past President General, Chief Edwin Udefne, expressed his commitment to supporting the incoming leadership and called for concerted efforts in moving the community forward. However, a notable stance emerged from a majority of the stakeholders and past President Generals, including Chief Abel Anaso, Chief Mweze Okafor, and Chief Ugochukwu Yamado, who asserted that it is the turn of Otulunonaga village to present candidates for the presidential election, as has been the tradition.
The people we know is Otulunonaga, and there are these people here. Yes, it's now their turn. My own advice: let the people leave Urotu and Uronaga to avoid problem.
And do suppose Otulunonaga. I don't know Otulunonaga. Which is how to suppose you know. Manaka will pastor or send a yamanje, which is from Uro to Lango. Yotago now. Then on Onagapota, on your village. So that is the top of my age.
The election process was closely observed by government officials, with the Transition Committee Chairman of Oka North Local Government Area, Mr. Tangod Anago, also in attendance.
On the foreign scene, the Defense Headquarters has presented an overview of operations, successes, and challenges of the Armed Forces of Nigeria within the year 2023. The Director of Defense Media Operations, DDMO, Major General Edward Buba, at a briefing on the scorecard of the military in all theaters of operations across the country in Abuja, said major security threats within the year 2023 were terrorism, armed banditry, kidnapping, oil theft, secessionist agitation, and farmers' herders clashes. Princess Equiajide of Abuja Bureau has details.
The DDMO revealed that the threat dynamics were defined along geopolitical zones, with some permeating across the regional lines. According to him, the predominant threat in the North Central and Northwest regions is armed banditry and terrorism, while the Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic States of West African province lingering insurgency remained the major threat in the Northeast region. He noted that the major threat in the Southeast and Southwest was the secessionist agitations of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the Yoruba nation, respectively, while the South-South region continued to experience oil theft, cultism, and youth restiveness. Major General Buba, however, stressed that acts of criminality such as kidnapping, armed robbery, communal clashes, and castle rustling held sway across the 6 geopolitical zones, pointing out that most security threats in the country were fueled by the proliferation of small arms exacerbated by the influx of illegal arms and ammunition through the nation's porous borders and the preponderance of local arms fabrication factories in the country. Hence, the armed forces' kinetic and non-kinetic efforts were geared towards tackling the threats in all the geopolitical zones. He said the armed forces has been developing the desired enablers to overcome the country's numerous threats, adding that the application of kinetic and non-kinetic efforts in collaboration with other services and security agencies have continued to shape the operating environment in which they are dominant.
Troops of Operation Hurricane neutralized over 1,750 terrorists, recovered over 680 assorted weapons, and over 495,000 assorted ammunition. Troops also rescued over 820 hostages among.
The DDMO recounted some success stories to include troops neutralizing 6,886 terrorists and other criminal elements and arrested 6,970 suspects, among other achievements. in Abuja. Princess Ekwi Ajide reporting.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has ordered the military, including its nuclear program, to accelerate war preparations to counter what he called unprecedented confrontation amidst by the United States. Speaking at the ongoing meeting of the country's ruling Workers' Party, Kim set forth the militant task for the People's Army and the munitions industry, nuclear weapons and civil defense sectors to further accelerate war preparations. Kim also stressed that the military situation on the Korean Peninsula had become extreme due to unprecedented anti-North confrontations from the U.S., South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. have deepened political and defense cooperation this year in the face of a record-breaking series of weapons tests by Pyongyang, and recently activated a system to share real-time data on North Korean missile launches. Earlier this month, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine arrived in the South Korean port city of Busan, and Washington has deployed its long-range bombers in drills with Seoul and Tokyo. Ajapana Village Umunya has clinched the first position in the just concluded Bishop Arthur Nwachukwu football competition. The event held at the Central School Field Umunya in Oyi local government area attracted many Umunya indigents, including holidaymakers, stakeholders from Oyi and Omambala region and beyond, among whom is a member representing Oyi constituency at Anambra State House of Assembly, Honorable Innocent Ojike. Correspondent Ngozi Obeleri reports.
In a tough and well-battled finals of the competition, which started in November 2023, the Ajapana and Isioye villages entertained members of the community with lively football. At the end, Ajapana village scored 3 goals against 1 goal scored by Isioye village. Speaking at the event, the first child of Arthur Nwachukwu, Bishop Chidozie Nwachukwu, Bishop Rema Ministries Worldwide, said that the Bishop Arthur Nwachukwu's football competition was initiated over 20 years ago by his late father, Bishop Arthur Nwachukwu, as a way of unifying Ndomunya, who were then divided by a series of crises, expressing happiness that the legacy led by his father is paying off.
This football match was led by my late father, Bishop Dr. Arthur Nwachukwu, the Bishop of Rema Divine Spiritual International, who passed on in 2020. He has been sponsoring this football match for the past 20-something years. So, this is his wish that after he had left, that we should continue hosting the football match. The essence of his sponsoring this football match is to unite the entire community, because this community is completely divided in so many things. And that time there were a lot of crises going on here and there. And we used to use today, which is 27th of December, as Omonya Day for many years, for the past year. But because of this little problem going on in the community, it was difficult for that Omonya community to hold. So my father now, instituted this football match to unite the communities.
On his part, the second son of the family, Dr. Anenechukwu Nwachukwu, explained that his late father was a lover of football, just like himself and his brothers, noting that they were happy to see that what their father instituted has not only united the community, but is also what people of the community look forward to.
Encourage every youth to try to manifest their talents. Everybody is given special talent by God, but you need to maximize and use your talents to the glory of God. Also pray for the youth that with your talent, you will be their destiny helper, whom God will use to expose you to manifest you.
Other sons of the family, Dr. Mechi Nwachukwu and Chukwuebuka Nwachukwu, who coordinated the competition, said that their father was known as Golden Boy during his days as a footballer, which was why he initiated the tournament as a unifying force and urged youth of the community to engage themselves meaningfully so as to stay away from societal ills. The President General Umunya Welfare Union Worldwide, Engineer Ifeanyi Chukwunwabeze, who acknowledged that the football competition has in no small measure brought about unity in the community, prayed God to bless them as they continue with their father's legacy.
You see, there are basic things everybody who likes unity in a community will always encourage, and that is togetherness. when you have children moving around, you see adults following them, you see elderly people around them, and everybody is smiling. It gives you a satisfying joy.
Ajapana village went home with a trophy and a cash prize of 300,000 naira as the winner. Isioye village went home with the sum of 200,000 naira, having come second, while Ojobi village, which came third, got 150,000 naira. The event featured presentation of awards to highest goal scorer, best player and best keeper of the tournament. From Central School Field, Omonia, Iloilo government area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
And that's just about it on the news this morning. But remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page, follow us at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on X at ABS Radio TV. And on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points again. Wife of Anambra State Governor, Mrs. Saludo, has urged India Anambra to embrace public-private community partnership initiative. Anambra State government has urged motorists to obey road signs. Nigeria's defense headquarters has blamed insecurity on proliferation of illegal arms ammunition. We also told you on the foreign scene that North Korea is preparing for war against the United States of America. Here's the special message again. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the news this morning. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. Good morning.